Alrighty. Welcome, everybody. Awesome. Just checking to make sure my live stream's working this week. Welcome to another live stream training. This week, we're going to talk about niche. I know this is a big topic. So if you're on this training, hopefully we can clear up some confusion around your niche if you're working on your niche right now. So go into the comments as you're joining. Say hi in the comments so I can see you and say hi back. Let me know you're joining me. If you're watching this on the replay, comment replay so I can see you on the replay. Thanks so much for joining me today. I was excited. Overcoming niche confusion. Who thinks figuring out a niche and nailing a niche is just pretty confusing? There's so many questions that go into it, and picking the right one and making sure you do it right, making sure it's a niche that you feel called to, making sure that you can help them. It's a whole thing, is it not? Let me know in the comments. If you're with me, say hi so I can say hi and I can see you. All right, awesome. Bernadette, hi. It's Bernadette, right? Welcome. Trying to pull up the comments so I can see you guys. Hi, Martha. Good to see you. Awesome. Yeah, so we're going to talk about niche today. We're going to talk about why it's confusing and what to do about it so we can overcome it and move forward and get some momentum. Does that sound good to you guys? Let me know if that's something that aligns with you. So often, hi Rachel, hi Gerald. So often when we're talking about getting started with a coaching business, hi Dina, we have all of these kind of very like black and white ideas, right? I have to get my certification. I have to pick a niche. I have to have all of these ducks in a row so that I can grow my coaching business, right? So knowing that, we're going to talk about niche today, why they're so important, why it's important to have one. Then we're going to talk about the confusion around niches, why it's so confusing, how it affects coaches when we have niche confusion. And then lastly, most importantly, we're going to talk about how to overcome it, what to do about it. So let me know if that sounds good. Good to see you guys joining today. Let's do this. Let's do this thing. All right, let's start with what a niche actually is. Okay? What is a niche? If someone who wasn't a coach were to ask you, what is this niche? You keep using the word niche. What is a niche? So a niche is just your specialty, right? A niche is a specific area of the market for your specific service, which is coaching, right? It's a specific segment of people who need your specific coaching, right? It's an area of coaching that's relevant to an appropriate person, or it's appropriate for a specific person, right? So I want you to remember that definition because it's going to come back when we start talking about why we get stuck in figuring out our niche and why it can be particularly confusing. All right, let me know in the comments if you can hear me and see me okay, if the live stream's working. Let me know if you're watching this on replay, comment replay. All right. When you have clarity on your niche, meaning who you want to help, and you understand the problem that you're solving with your coaching, right? And you have clarity on that, two things happen. One, you never wonder what to put in your marketing because you have clarity on the direction that you're going, who it's for, who's listening, right? And number two, you have confidence in yourself as the coach who is the expert in this area, right? Because you pick this niche, reason would stand that if this is your niche and this is your area of specialty, you're pretty confident in that space, right? And when you don't have a niche and you're kind of just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks, right? Or you're thinking about what to put out there that's going to stick, what happens? We blend in with all of the other coaches, right? We don't stand out from the crowd. We don't attract people that want to work with us, that are literally reaching out and saying, how can I work with you? I don't want to work with anybody else. I want to work with you, right? So when we don't have that clarity, what happens? We spin out trying to figure out how to get clear on our niche so that we can start reaching those people that we're so called to reach as coaches, right? So let me know in the comments if you feel like you're still trying to clarify your niche, like right now. Go into the comments and type yes if you feel like you need to clarify your niche. Hey, Heather, good to see you. So go into the comments and type yes if you feel like you're trying to clarify your niche. And let me know in the chat if, because you don't have clarity, you feel stuck talking to anyone and everyone, and you feel like what you're posting is boring and generic and vanilla, or you just don't even know what to post about. If you feel stuck, not even knowing what to say, you're just not inspired to say anything. Like that type of stuff. If you feel like nobody's really seeing you or paying attention to you because, again, you feel like you're in a sea of coaches all trying to do the exact same thing, and you're just repeating what everyone else is doing. And then it's because you don't have clarity and that you're stuck on this piece that you don't know what to do, right? I'm wondering if I need to tweak my ideal client, Heather says. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But let's talk about why it's, number one, I think we're all here because we know it's important to have a niche, right? It helps people find you in a specific target. It helps them find you, right? I think so often we look at it the other way around, like, how do I find clients? Having a niche helps people find you, right? Example, if you're a relationship coach and you specifically help widows heal from loss and find love again. Is that or is that not going to attract a very specific type of person going through something specific in their life that immediately applies to them right now? What do you think? If you are that person, if you're a widow or a widower and you find the coach who does that, are you going to pay more attention to that person that specifically deals with the thing that you're going through right now? Yeah, of course you are. So when we talk about creating niches, when we talk about attracting people that have a specific problem, one of the main things that we talk about a lot in this group is solving major life problems. So when you have a niche, you're positioning yourself as the expert who solves that major life problem, right? That is what you live and breathe. That is your bread and butter, and people know about it, right? That's why we talk about it's important to have a niche. What's your niche? Do you have a niche? It's going to be very attractive to certain people, right? And because you're solving a highly valued problem in someone's life, right? We're not talking about like a stubbed toe. We're not putting Band-Aids on stubbed toes. These are big problems in people's lives. And money is an exchange of value, and people value that problem. People pay more for what they value, for solving a problem that is highly valued in their life. Does that all make sense to everybody? Right? People pay more for problems that they value more in their life. right? So think about that when you're picking your niche. Make sure you're not picking problems that people don't value. Okay, and we're going to talk about how to know if it's a problem that people value. All right, this makes sense. Go into the comments and type I if everyone's with me and we understand why niches are a valuable thing for coaches. And when we're talking about niches, we're talking about niches that revolve around major life problems. This is super important. Heather, that made me laugh out loud. My husband looked at me sideways. Yeah, it's true, right? If you are that person, it's definitely going to apply to you. And if you're in a happy marriage, or if you're married and you're not a widower, you know immediately to move on. That's the beauty of niches, is it helps the right people find you, right? How many of you want to stand out that way with your marketing? Now, what I've found from coaching hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of coaches through this process, okay, is that there's really two main categories that coaches fall into. And I want to offer to you that both categories are equal, valid, and worthy. Okay? So I want you to go into the comments and type a 1 or a 2 if you are a 1 or a 2 in these two categories. Okay? A 1 or a 2. So category 1 is a category of coaches that just like from day one of deciding to become a coach, they know who they were meant to help. Okay? They know exactly what the problem is that they solve. And they just like live and breathe that specialty every day. That is just who they were here to help. They know exactly what they want to talk about, who they're helping them, and with what, right? That is just kind of always been something. They've never grappled with it. They've never had to think about it. They just wake up and they can't wait to talk about it. They're just filled with topics to say on the issue. It exudes out of them, right? That's category 1. And then there's a second category of coaches, just as valid, just as worthy, just as amazing, just as needed. They know they are meant to be a coach. They know it in their gut, but they don't know exactly how to describe who they want to help. They don't know exactly how to describe it. And because of this confusion around their niche and who it is and how to describe that and how to describe to people their one-liner and who they help, they're confused about what to post every day, right? And they're confused about where to find clients. So go into the comments and tell me if you feel like you are a 1 or a 2 in this scenario. A 1 or a 2. And let me know if you need me to repeat the scenarios. 1 or 2. Both are just as valid, both are just as worthy, and neither one is wrong. Both are just as successful. So if you are in group 2, I want to offer to you, it doesn't mean that you are not a coach. Category 1, Simone says repeat. Hi, Simone. Simone says repeat. The category is category 1 is the coach that just from the day that they decided to become a coach, they just knew exactly what they wanted to do as a coach, who they wanted to help, what they were going to be coaching on, and that was just, they lived and breathed that specialty. Like every day they woke up and they knew what they wanted to talk about in that niche, who they were talking to, and they just were filled with things to say on the topic. And number 2 is the coach who feels called to be a coach, but doesn't know exactly who that person is they're called to help or exactly how to describe how they're going to help them and really pinpoint the problem they solve and put it into words. If people were to ask them about it, they're not totally clear on how to spit that out. All right. Category 1 or category 2. Category 2 I want to offer to you is the most common. Most coaches who are called to be a coach don't have this dialed in from day one, and that's totally fine. You are in the category where most coaches are, and it doesn't mean that you are not a coach. It's totally normal to have these questions, right? That is exactly what we specialize in OCI. We deal with this all the time. It's what we do first, okay? There is a process for solving niche confusion. Okay, we're gonna talk about it today. This is why I'm talking about it today with you. You guys ready for it? You guys curious? Who's curious? Even if you're in category 1. I saw a 1 and a 1.5. Fly by. All right. Who's ready for it? The other thing that I notice coaches do who are in group 2, and let me know if you relate to this, is when we decide who we want to work with, let's say we pick a niche. Okay, this has been something that we know we need. We know why it's important. We've talked about why niches are important. You get it. You've picked one. We decide who we want to work with. And then we start talking to those people. Our brains do this really interesting thing. And maybe this hasn't happened to you because you haven't gotten to this stage yet. But I'm curious to hear if it's ever happened to anybody on this chat. Is we start talking to people and our brains immediately go to work finding reasons why the people we're talking to in that area, in that niche that we picked, why we can't help this specific type of person in that niche. Uh-oh. Like they have like this specific scenario, and so we're not sure we can help that person, right? So it doesn't matter what niche you're in. It doesn't matter if you are a career coach and you help people in their careers. Your brain will go find the careers that people are talking to you have and be like, "Ooh, but you're not that familiar with that career. You probably shouldn't make that person an offer. You can only help these very specific careers." Yeah, that's where we feel confident and comfortable. Or, let's say you're in the health spectrum and you're a health coach and you help people with their hormones, and you start talking to your market and they start telling you all about their problems, and you go, "Ooh, I've never helped someone with that specific challenge before. Ooh, you know what? I don't know if I can help this specific person in this niche." And so what happens, let me know if this is you guys. And if anyone else is listening, let each other know so you know you're not alone, because this is really common. I work with so many coaches all the time. I know this happens, okay? But what happens when you start qualifying your niche smaller and smaller and smaller, when you start talking to your market, right? Your niche is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then guess what happens? Our world becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually you've disqualified all of the leads right out of your niche. Right? Which further proves to your brain you don't know where to find clients. Where are they? And so I want to offer to you, if you've ever experienced this, it's really stemming from this belief that we're not really coaches yet until we figured this niche part out. And when we start talking to people, it's like further proof to our brain that we don't have it figured out yet. Is this familiar to you? Heather says this is familiar. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the steps to overcoming some of this niche confusion, right? Because we know that it's important to have a niche. We know it's important to stand out in the market. But now we're recognizing some of the obstacles that come in our way that keep us stuck and keep us from moving forward when we have to figure out our niche. So who's ready for it? Step 1 to overcoming niche confusion. Who's ready for it? Give me a 1 in the comments if you're ready. That way I know that you are caught up and you're not still taking notes. You're ready for me to proceed. Because I'm gonna fly in the face with a lot of what is being taught out there around narrowing down your niche, honing your niche. I think there's another aspect to this conversation that needs to be discussed today. All right? So step one to overcoming niche confusion is believing you are a coach. Period. Full stop. No justification, no explaining what you do, no explaining what that means to people who've never heard of a coach before. Believing you are a coach now. Some of you are waiting to identify as a coach and really believe you are one right now until you figure this out, until you know what niche you are, until you know your tagline. So you can feel confident explaining it to someone. It's like, you really be onto yourself. Yeah, I want to be a coach, or yeah, I'm working on becoming a coach is not the same thing as I'm a coach. Full stop. So I just want to ask you, how many of you believe you can be a coach now without having everything else, right? The niche, the program, the website, the certifications, whatever it may be. You see, you don't become a coach by having a program or honing your niche first. You become a coach in your mind. And I really want that to sink in. Because until you own that identity, until you step into that without feeling the need to justify it by explaining that niche to people, you'll always bump up against this belief when you're talking to your market and they're telling you about their problems. I want you to imagine how many clients that you could help right now if you took all of the energy that you spend thinking about your niche on a piece of paper or on a Google Doc, and you actually focus that energy into believing and feeling, into being a coach and acting from that place every day. How many clients do you think you could help right now if you just shifted all of that energy? All of that energy that's coming from dwelling on the niche. Just want you to think about that. Yesterday, I asked you all a question in the group. Go and check the group if you didn't see the question, but I asked you all a question in the group. I'm going to ask you again today, right here. And I want you to go into the comments and tell me, why did you become a coach? Go into the comments and tell me in 5 words or less. Why did you become a coach? Why did you become a coach? I'll tell you some of the answers that you offered up yesterday, but I'm excited to read more from the chat. Some of the reasons that were offered up yesterday for why you became a coach was to motivate and help others show up for themselves, helping others, make others feel good and look good at the same time, connect to their higher self, make a gigantic impact, help others, impact others, serve others, build confidence and change lives, share joy and hope, save lives. All right, are you all listening to these answers? What do you all notice about these statements? Why you became a coach? What do you notice about these statements? Right, the reason at your core that you became a coach, we lose connection with that when we start focusing on figuring out this big problem, which is I need to pick the perfect niche and I need to hone it correctly. We missed the whole part where the reason we decided to become a coach in the first place. I really want you to think about this. You decided to become a coach to help others, impact others, serve others, build confidence, change lives. That's your vision and purpose, right? What if, and I really want you to listen on this, so stop taking notes for a second. What if the only thing standing in the way of you doing that right now was actually believing you can do that right now? Meaning the only thing standing between you and clients right now is believing that something is between you and clients right now. Believing that you can do that right now. Imagine what your life would look like instead of being the coach who is trying to nail down your niche, you decided to be the coach who is changing lives. Full stop. What would you be doing differently every day if that was your primary focus? I want to offer to you that if you were out there doing the things that coaches do who are changing lives, you would also solve your niche problem at the same time. What? Because the actions that are required for you to go out there and actually impact lives and serve others and make a difference as a coach are the same actions that are required to hone your niche. What? You cannot hone your niche staring at a Google Doc with a blinking cursor. You're never going to hone your niche that way, right? Imagine all of the drama that you could leave behind if you explore the idea that you already know exactly what to do to hone your niche. And it starts with helping people, serving others, and being a coach right now. Imagine all of that drama around the niche, right? And the coaching program, right? Because some of you think like, I really need to spend 6 months figuring that out, right? Think about all of the steps you're putting as like every step is now a roadblock that you have to overcome. Think about every single one you're putting in the way between you and why you became a coach in the first place to help and serve others. Not being expert enough, not certified yet, confused about your niche, no website for your program yet. What else? I'm sure there's more. What if the only thing really keeping you from signing a client today and serving them today was believing you can sign a client today? That's the way I want you to start thinking about this is I could actually just sign a client today and they would never even use the word niche when they're talking to me. They'd have no idea what my niche is and whether they're perfectly aligned with it, whether you've honed it correctly. They're not thinking about that. You know what they're thinking about? Is this person offering to help me with this major problem that I have? So the obstacle, right, is if you try and you perfect your niche, you're going to spend a lot of time confused and consumed with the decision like, is my niche right? Is this perfect for me? Am I doing this right or am I making a mistake? And when you're focused on that, what are you not focused on? Making offers and serving others. You guys with me on this? Go into the comments and say I if this resonates with you. Because the truth is, every second that you're spending thinking about your niche, you're not spending that time thinking about making money, signing clients, and changing lives. And I always tell my clients, like, even if you have your niche and you figure it out on day one, be very careful and be onto yourself about all of the judgments that your brain will offer up that are coming to you about judging the leads, why they're not the right person, why you probably can't help them, why they're probably not going to want to do the work with you, why. Just be very on to your brain about that. And I want to offer up to you that if they're coming to you and you're talking to people and they're talking to you about their problems, there is a reason that they are in your life right now, talking to you about their problems. So don't judge them and dismiss them and then decide not to make offers to them. There's a reason they're in your life right now. That's not an accident. All right? So this niche confusion, primarily it applies to you if you haven't signed clients yet, or if you haven't even had 10 clients, right? You haven't even made 10 offers. I just want you to really pay attention and be onto your brain. Is this thought process that my brain is taking me through of honing my niche serving me, or is it keeping me stuck? Most people think that the process of honing their niche happens in their head. Like, I'm just going to think about it, spend a lot of time dwelling on this niche. I'm going to put it on paper. I'm going to, do this worksheet, and then I'll just magically feel confident. And I always tell clients, no, that is a recipe for confusion and buffering. Okay, so we understand why niches are a thing. We respect that they're important. We need to have one. We understand how believing that we don't have clarity on our niche is actually a problem and it's affecting us and holding us back. How do we solve for it? It's so simple. It's almost, I don't even know if you guys are ready for how simple the solution is that I'm about to give you. It's so simple, your brain is probably going to try to complicate it. You guys ready for it? Let me know. I'm going to give you 3 points, okay? Let me know if you're ready. I'm warning you, it's simple and it's powerful, and your brain is going to want to complicate it. Let me know. So we all know that in order to really hone our niche, nail down our niche, be decided on that specialty and figure out that problem, we need to figure out the problem, right? What's the problem that we solve? That's our niche, right? What do you do if you don't know the problem you solve? What do you do if you're in group 2 and you're like, I don't know exactly what problem I solve? Great. Now what do I do? Now I'm still trying to figure out my niche. There's 3 things you need to do. 1, I want you to go back to that first question I asked you yesterday. What inspired you to become a coach? And I want you to think about that, and I want you to take your mind to that place and remember, what was the problem that you were identifying with in your own life that inspired this calling? This is step 1. Yep, we're on step 1. Go to what inspired you to become a coach and all those answers you gave. What was the problem that you identified with in your own life that inspired this calling? There was something happening either in your life or in the lives of people around you, something you were observing or experiencing that triggered this calling, that activated it. Talk about that problem. Okay, that's step 1. Talk about that problem. Share that. Share that story, that moment. where it was so obvious to you that the world needs this solution, this world needs coaches, okay? What was that moment? There was a moment when your calling was activated to become a coach. Something triggered that. There was something going on. There was a problem that needed to be solved. There was something missing. What was it? That is what I want you to talk about. Number 2, I want you to just talk to as many people as possible. That is your mission, okay? You're the heat-seeking missile. Your job is to find and talk to as many people as possible about their problems. What's going on for them? What are their goals in life? What do they want? What do they want to feel? What do they feel is out of reach for them right now in their own life? What are their aspirations? Be obsessed with that. Be obsessed with what other people are going through and talking to them. Number 3. All right. So step 1 and step 2 didn't make you uncomfortable. Sharing and talking to people about our past, sharing experiences, sharing problems from our past that we've had revelation around, meeting people and talking to people. If that didn't scare you, step 3 definitely will. You guys still with me? Who's still down for step 3? Who's thrown in the towel? All right, step 3 is definitely going to make you uncomfortable, which means you definitely need to do it. Double dog dare you. I want you to come up with 10 different ways that you could explain this to them, that you could explain your solution to someone, right? That's what making an offer to someone is. It's saying, hey, I know how to help with this. Here's how we do that. I want you to come up with 10 different ways that you could explain that to someone. And here's the hardest part. Okay, here's the real challenge. Those are your steps. I want you to repeat these steps 100 times. What? Yes, I want you to repeat this 100 times. What does that mean? That means that you have to take some massive action in your life. If that number feels daunting to you, it means that we need to up the action. Okay, less blinking cursor, more getting out there and living our purpose. I want you to repeat those steps 100 times. And after making 100 offers, I guarantee you will have solved your niche confusion. And guess what? In the process, you will have made money. You will be a coach who gets paid. You will have clients. You will be living into all of the things that you told me were the reason that you became a coach in the first place. How awesome is that? To motivate and help others to be the best version of themselves, to be their higher self, to help others, to impact others, to save lives, to serve others, to build confidence and change lives, to share hope and joy. This is why you decided to become a coach in the first place. Isn't that great? Who is up for this? Who is up for this challenge? This is the secret to solving niche confusion. Okay, it's not enough to just write it on paper. All right, my friends, was this valuable to you? If you want to accelerate this process and pour gasoline on your life, blow it all up in the best way possible, right? So getting coaching and getting past this niche, getting past the getting started phase, getting past the dialing in your niche, getting past How do I make offers? How do I position that to people? How do I broach the topic? And you want to actually begin making money in your business and signing clients. I want you to go into the comments and type talk. Go into the comments and type talk. So someone from my team can reach out to you and actually offer you some really specific feedback on this. If this is something that you're struggling with, do not stay stuck in niche confusion. Okay? What will happen is someone from my team will reach out to you. We'll have a chat. We'll diagnose exactly what the block is that's keeping you stuck at whatever stage of getting started you're in. Okay? That is going to be the biggest area to focus on. We'll give you some very pointed feedback on that. And then if you want to talk about what it would look like to work together, we can share more information about what it looks like to join one of our programs and work with our team. We could totally talk about that. If not, we will just give you advice on where you're at, what you need to be working on, and how you can move forward on your own, okay? This is not a sales call. This is a conversation with someone from my team. If you want to schedule a sales call, they can talk to you about how to do that, but that's not what this conversation is, okay? So go into the comments and type talk if you want some advice and direction on wherever you're at on getting started, figuring out your niche, figuring out how to find clients, how to make offers, how to broach the subject, how to get people reaching out to you, okay? Whatever it may be. If you're interested in finding more about our offers, we can totally talk to you about that. You just got to let us know if that's something you're interested in, and we'll see if it's a good fit on both sides. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me today. It's been a blast chit-chatting with you and hearing where you guys are at with your niches. Let me know in the comments if this cleared up any of your niche confusion, and let me know what you do about it. Let me know if you go sign some clients. All right, my friends, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.